everyone, welcome to the Tuesday problem of the day. Today we're going to look at place value and how numbers are related. So this first one we're looking at is what is the difference between this number and this number? What happened to that decimal? Well, the decimal moved in and made the number one place value larger. So it went from 3/100ths to 3/10ths. So now if we're going one place value larger, so we moved in that decimal. So now what do you think we're going to do with this decimal? We're going to move it in one place value. So now our answer is going to be 3 wholes and 0/10ths. Now let's see if that works with this number. Remember, every number has a decimal. And the decimal, if you don't see one, it goes after the ones place. Just like in money, $30 has a decimal at the end and then 0 cents. So if we take our decimal and we move it over again, does this now match that? Absolutely. So now let's do it again. We take our decimal and we move it over 1. So we have 3, 0. And then we moved the decimal over 1 to here. So what goes in this place right here? A 0. So we have 300. All right. And then the next one, again, we're going to take our decimal and move it over. So then we have 300, and then we moved our decimal over 1. So what goes in that spot? Another 0. So as you can see, we're getting one place value larger each time. So what about these numbers here? Well, where does the decimal go in 6,500,000? You should have said at the very end. So if I want to move it in to where I only have 3 zeros and a 6,5. So I'm going from 6 million to 65,000. So I only want to have the 6 and the 5 and 3 zeros. So I want to come in 1, 2, and that gives me 65,000. Well, if I'm jumping to here, how many am I jumping here? How many place values am I bringing it in? 2. So we're going to come in 1, 2, and we're going to place it there, which gives me a 6, a 5, and a 0. So that'd be 650. Now to make sure that we got that right, we need to look at this number. I need the decimal to be placed in between the 6 and the 5, but I also want to have 2 jumps. So now I'm going to look and I'm going to go in 1, 2, and is that going to be in between the 6 and the 5? Absolutely. Now this one's a little tricky because there's nowhere to jump. Well, think of it like these numbers. There was nothing there beforehand, and what did we add? We added a 0 because you're moving place value so you can add in those zeros as a placeholder. So here our number was getting larger, but here our number is getting smaller. So should this number be greater than or less than this number? Less than, because we are getting smaller as our number goes on. So I know I need to move in this direction to make it smaller. So there's 1 jump and then there's 2 jump. So I know I'm going to have a decimal, and then look, there's a blank right there. So I can put a 0 and then a 6 and a 5. So I have 0 and 65 thousandths. Now look at this one. This one's kind of tricky because it starts off with a blank. So if it starts off with the blank and we go to this number, and then it ends, that has a blank, so we don't really know where we're going here. So we have to skip this first part, and we're going to move down to the side. So if we're moving down to the side, I'm going to look at what's the comparison between this number and this number. When I'm going this direction, am I getting larger or smaller? I'm getting smaller because 94 wholes is larger than 9 wholes, so I'm getting smaller. How many place values did that decimal move? 1. It got 1 decimal smaller, so we moved in 1. So if I know I'm going smaller in this direction, then I know this one has to be smaller than this one. So I'm looking at it and I'm doing 1 jump is what we determined. So that would be 943 thousandths. Okay, but what about these two? So if we said we're going smaller in this direction, then what are we doing going this direction? We're getting larger. So now I need to move my decimal in the other direction because I don't want to go smaller now. Now I want to go larger. So if I want to go larger, I can't move my decimal this direction. Which way do you think I'm going to move it? I should move it the other direction. So here's going to be 943 with a decimal. Now I move that decimal over again to get 9,430. So where does my decimal go on this number? It's going to go here at the end. And then how do I figure out this number? I'm going to move my decimal one more to make it larger because we're getting bigger as we go on. So that gives me 94,300. All right. So again, when we're going this direction, we're going to be getting larger. So each time it looks like they added what to that number? A 0. So there's 1 0 there, there's another 0 there. So we're getting larger by one place value. So now I know I have 2 zeros, but I know I'm adding one each time, and then I'm keeping my 3 9s. And then we'll do it again. You keep your 3 9s, keep your 3 zeros, and add one because we're getting one place value larger each time. All right, last one. What is happening when we're going this direction? We're getting larger, good, because 7 is smaller than 750. How many place values are we moving? Hopefully you said 2, because we're going from 7 to 75 to 750. So that's 2 jumps. Again, 750, here's the decimal, to 7,000 to 75,000. And that's where we're at now. So here we are at 75,000. Then we're going to go 750,000 to 7,500,000. So that's 75, and then I have my 3 zeros, and then my 2 jumps. And then I can put in my commas. So what about this one here? If this way is getting larger, is this number going to be greater than or less than this number? It's going to be less than because we got to go bigger this way, which means this one needs to be my smallest. So if I went too bigger going this way, then I need to go too smaller to go this way. So now I have this, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and put my decimal. So I have a decimal, and then a blank, which we can put a 0, and then 7, 5. So there is your Thursday problem of the day.